My biggest lesson from Harvard's Leading Effective Teams course. I recently spent time going through Harvard's Leading Effective Teams course, and I'll be honest, I expected to learn a few tactics, maybe a couple frameworks. What I didn't expect was it to completely challenge the way I think about leadership. See, most entrepreneurs, they build companies the same way. They believe leadership is about being the smartest person in the room. They believe the harder they work, make better decisions, and solve bigger problems will allow the company to grow. Of course, but eventually everybody hits a wall. Because growth, it stops when it becomes just about individual performance. And it starts becoming about your ability to create performance through people, challenges, and opportunities. And the biggest lesson I took away from Harvard wasn't about strategy or accountability, or even the organizational charts. It was about understanding what separates teams that simply work together from teams that truly perform at the highest level. Today, I'm going to share with you the single most valuable lesson I learned and how it's changed the way I lead people, build teams, and manage the companies and clients that I support. Before I jump into the video, I just want to share a little bit about me. My name is Antonio Mainolfi, and before watching the rest of this video, I ask you if it makes sense, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I look forward to sharing a little bit more insights about the course I took, and of course, more tips on entrepreneurship and scaling businesses the right way. So I get to Harvard and I sit down. There's about 21 people in the classroom. I see Meta, I see Stripe, I see well-known brands around the world, but I also see a couple people that are from Fort Lauderdale, where I'm from. And I'm like, man, I have to come all the way to Boston, to Harvard to meet some people who are local in the community. As we sit down, it's a 2-day coursework. We're going through it. I'm learning more about the positions people are in, where they came from, what it took for them to actually be in the classroom. But I'll share one of my biggest takeaways here in just a moment. There were people there that took 2 days to fly in. Someone from Kuwait. He said, man, don't even watch the news. They're dropping bombs on us still. He said, I run a telecommunication company there, and it's my job as a manager, as an executive of the company, to build the right team, to build the right support, to have people go into the airport, to put the network back online. And guess what? It's not easy, because who wants that job? Well, rightfully so. So there's one opportunity. There's a gentleman from Mexico, Brazil, there's all around the world. And there's entrepreneurs in that room, there's managers in that room, but they all support a different area of business. They all came from around the world, from Sweden, represent Florida, alongside some other staff that were there. And as we're challenging, we're going through case studies, we're building. My number one takeaway is something you probably wouldn't guess. It's not something I read in the case studies they had me read. We had all these different case studies we went through. We had all this material we went through, all these team building activities, exercises. I made friends in there, relationships. I had opportunities to hear what people are going through. And guess what? What I thought I was going there with, my challenges that I was facing, they're microscopic compared to everybody else. But they're running large teams. They're running teams where it isn't as simple. It's very complex because you have different personalities. I'm going to share that here in just a moment, how everybody has different personalities and you have to feed it a certain way. I look forward to sharing that with you here in just a moment. But my biggest takeaway from being at this course is perspective. Everybody has a different personality in their team. They're driven in a certain way. They respect to be driven a certain way, but they also have a leader who responds in a different way. How do we adapt? How do we bring people together? How do we have an effective way to take everybody that's in front of us, deal direct, manage direct, but also adapt to their communication style? And it's also a challenge if you don't know their communication style, how to make sure it's effective. So number one is perspective. But is it perspective on their personality? No, it's perspective of who was in that room. My message I'm sharing with you today is an opportunity for you to say, man, when was the last time I went to a course? When was the last time I went to an educational seminar? When was the last time I went to an educational conference? Or better yet, when was the last time I went out from just an industry specific event to something that's really gonna shake things up? Yeah, I'm in dentistry. I'm only going to dental conferences. Well, there you go. That's why you're probably stuck where you're at. How about we go to an industry agnostic? Or how about we go to, a different industry, maybe a trade show, maybe somewhere to shape perspective and mindset? Because sometimes when we go to a different environment, some guy in trucking logistics might say, this is how I've done it all along. This is my marketing strategy. You say, man, I had no idea this is what I could do when it comes to marketing, strategy, leadership, but you pull from every different industry. You have all these different opportunities to bring it to be your own. So at this course, meeting people from Stripe, from Meta, a gentleman from Kuwait, a lady from Sweden, all these different personalities coming together, every culture, every industry, every business, every position, they all had a different way of adjusting their communication style, personality style, traits, what their non-negotiables are, how they host their Monday morning meetings. Do they even have a Monday meeting? Is there a meeting at night? Perspective was the number one takeaway. That's one thing I'll share. The second thing I'll share with you here is if you look at this desktop here, there's a communication style diagnostic. Now on here, you can see everything from someone who's a connector here, someone who's a seeker, someone who's more of a driver, or heck, maybe even someone who's a planner. Now, of course, going through seeing which one you are more of, or how do I know which one of my team is that type of personality or that type of quality, you got to go to the course and you have to take the course to go through it. But one of the biggest takeaways I'll share from this map here is if you're a driver, you're a manager, you're a CEO driving a team, great. It's probably a great opportunity to have someone like you on the team that drives, that pushes the boundary, takes no excuses, takes away all the excuses, allow the team to keep pushing and pursuing their next level, whether it's the next level as a manager, next level as a husband, a wife, a spouse, a son, a daughter, a CEO. But if you're a driver and you communicate to the team as a driver, meanwhile, they might be a seeker, they might be a connector, maybe they're more people oriented. If you communicate to them that one way and it's to everybody in the room, you lost half the room because not everybody's a driver and you'll shut them down. Will they come out and tell you? Maybe. Will they show up different? Maybe. Will they show up with, man, John, when you first started, man, you were on fire. I felt like you gave me your 100%. Now it feels like you're operating at half full. I feel like you're not who you usually are. Well, got it, because the way you communicate to them. So this chart really showed me if you're talking to somebody, you might be operating one way. If you're a driver, great. You want to get things done. But if someone's a connector, they're more people oriented, they're more present in the moment, they don't operate the same way. They want to, hey, take a moment. Man, I care about you. How was your weekend? Tell me about all this. Present, got it. They're calm, they're indirect, they're trying to figure out. But if you just direct them, man, you're going to lose them. So at this course, as I share all this information, as I'm sharing my perspective is my biggest takeaway, all the case studies I went through, and even going through this communication style diagnostic, my biggest takeaway from being there is meeting the great people in that room that traveled the world to be at one location, Harvard, to get not only out of their shell, meet great people, challenge their belief, change their communication style, all because they want to drive a better team for them and their organization. So as I share all of this here, it has changed the way I look at business, the way I directly challenge my team, but also you as the client, you as the entrepreneur, the way I communicate with you. You might say, man, Antonio, well, mainly CEOs are probably watching this video. Well, that's great. Not every CEO is a driver. Not at all. Not every CEO is someone who cares about how you feel in the morning. Not every CEO is someone who is more task oriented. Everybody's different. Knowing how you can adapt like a chameleon, be able to go back and forth, that is somebody who will outlast anybody when it comes to effective team building. So watching this video, if you found value, if there's an opportunity for you to say, man, I really need to consider going to a course. Maybe this is right for you. Drop me a comment. I'm happy to see, happy to share some insight. Maybe it's not this course. Maybe it's not Harvard. Maybe it's this message here is good enough for you to say, you know what, man, my takeaway is, perspective, meeting great people in a room. If you don't already have your ticket, there's an event coming up later this year. It's an educational conference called the Vault Conference. August 31st to the 3rd of September, we're going through systems, challenges, conversations, paradigm shifts, finding your next in life and business, cracking the code between life and business. If that's an event that makes sense, then there's an opportunity for you to learn more. There'll be 12,000 entrepreneurs around the world. Mathematically, you will find the person you're looking for. You will receive the paradigm shift you need. It just depends if you can make it in that room. If you like this video and you want to see more, leave me a comment, drop a subscribe. I look forward to it, and we'll see you in the next one.